Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We are here somewhere in between Los Angeles and Palm Springs, California. And guess what? I have something that brings some turbocharged performance. What is it? This is your 2023 WRX. This particular one from Subaru is your top trim known as the WRX GT. But before we get into this compact size turbocharged all-wheel drive performance sedan, let's talk about what's going on here. I can't remember a recent time where so much performance goodness is being brought to the compact class segment. When you think of the vehicles like the Elantra N from Hyundai and the Veloster N, of course we have the all-new Honda Civic Type R, that FL5 generation, and we even have a new player from Toyota, the GR Corolla. But we can't forget the originals, the Volkswagen GTI, the Golf R, and then there's also a new upcoming Integra Type S. Lots of different ways that you could spend your money to get that compact car performance in today's market. And we all know the days are numbered where these types of vehicles are not going to exist in the future. So what I want to find out is, we have this Subaru WRX GT. I want to do a little bit of a comparison to see if you should jump on one of these because they're available now and they have some unique touches, or should you wait and buy the upcoming Acura Integra Type S? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this Ignition Red, I love that name, Ignition Red WRX GT, and find out. Right off the bat, of course, we have the new generation that is now 1 year old, and we have the top trim, like I said, the GT. At the front of the business, you're getting full LED lighting. So with the upcoming Integra Type S, expect the same situation. LED projector beam headlights, daytime running lamps, and your turn signals. I do like the way on the WRX GT we do have, of course, LED fog lamps. I do have to zonk a little bit because we have some fake vent on the top portion. To be honest with you, I wish that they maybe would have brought this body line down a little bit further or just smoothed it out. Now, when we're talking about the upcoming Integra Type S, if you have not seen my review of the walk around, we had exclusive rights to doing the walk around at the Rolex 24 at Daytona. I'll leave the link to that video at the end of that one so you can kind of see what Acura is bringing. But what they are bringing compared to the Subaru is full functionality in the lower corner vents. Now, of course, we have a little bit of fender flare, and that's another thing that with this particular WRX GT, the car is wider than the previous generation. But if you're looking at the Integra has a more actual flared fender style to it than this particular WRX. But like I said, the whole car is wider than the previous generation of the same nameplate. Now, as we come across that low slung nose on the GT, you are going to get a specific grille. It's this metallic gunmetal gray finish. I like the way we got the Subaru badge, so much rally car history. And then really, I do think they did a great job on making the lower portion here very aggressive looking. The way the front lip splitter drops down. We have obviously full functionality on the bottom portion. Both vehicles, Integra Type S and this WRX, are turbocharged, of course, but they do it in a little bit different fashion. Now, when you get up onto the hood, you got the iconic hood scoop. Not as tall as, say, going back to 2002, 2004, but still fully functional because we have our intercooler up top rather than up front like the Integra Type S is gonna have. Love the way they did the body line. You'll see here in the Ignition Red how it drops down and then it boomerangs nicely right towards the A-pillar. Gives it a nice like V for victory formation, and you can see that hood scoop from the vantage point behind the wheel. Now, as we come around the bend, talking about wheels, you have a unique wheel on the GT, and I like the style of it. It's like a satin gunmetal metallic gray finish, 18-inch wheel. So comparing this to the new Integra Type S, we know that it's going to have a 19-inch wheel. Like I said, if you did not see my Rolex 24 walk around of the camouflage car, we were able to show you the 19-inch wheel. This has an 18-inch wheel. They are wrapped in those performance Dunlop tires. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size? You're looking at 245 on the width, 40 series sidewall. Let me know how you feel about the color, especially with the ignition red on our particular one. One thing to be aware of is that, yes, we have an 18-inch wheel, but we do have standard all-wheel drive. The new Integra Type S is gonna be front-wheel drive, just like the Type R, but you are getting a larger wheel, 19-inch wheel on the Integra Type S, and it's wider. The tires are 265, these are 245s at all four corners. Now on the GT, you do have adaptive suspension. That is unique to the GT, the top trim, and what's great is that that matches it perfectly with the Integra Type S, because the Type S will also have adaptive suspension just like the Type R. The big debate, the big tongue wrestling, arm wrestling, mud wrestling, even just some fist fighting is over the fender flare. Let me know if it's grown on you having the flat black cladding on the fender opening. Remember, Subaru says that supposedly this golf ball design actually helps generate air flow to be greater down the side of the vehicle. Not 100% sold on that, but let me know how you feel about it in the comment section. Remember, on the new Type S, it's got an actual fender flare all the way around, and I'm gonna assume more likely than not, they're gonna be color matched, unlike these. Now, the one thing I do love is I'm gonna have Lori spin around and show you that actual fender vent that is functional there. Love the way they did that. You do have color match on the mirror caps. You do have also your turn signals built in. And one thing that Subaru definitely does better than the Integra, better than the Type R, is the corner windows. So you have great visibility with these larger corner windows, especially when you're hitting your apexes at the track. The WRX comes with a standard sunroof. So up top, we have a standard sunroof. No word yet on if a sunroof is going to be offered on a Type S. We did not see one at Daytona. I do like the way they extend down that side sill. Nice extension all the way down. And the way that, and I'm gonna have Lori kind of swing around and show you that you have a nice fender flare coming off the door into the actual rear fender. And then to finish it off, we have a trunklet spoiler, color match, looks good. You are gonna have a nice kick-up spoiler on the Integra Type S, which is actually more aggressive looking, but I still like this one. LED lighting, little gloss black heavy. I could do without this gloss black in the center. And then working our way down, this portion looks very aggressive. There's something about it. I do like the quad tip exhaust, functional exhaust on both sides. Remember, the Type S is gonna have the 3 large openings in the center. I just wish they would have painted some of this. Maybe bring this down to the middle and then paint from that line up towards the trunk. But definitely you could see the extra width at the back of this WRX. Let's pop the hood. Let's talk about power, performance in this WRX GT. All right, guys, we got the hood pop. The train is blowing its horn in the background, but you know what? The show must go on. You do have hood struts rather than a prop rod like you have on the Integra Type S. So that definitely is a nice sign, and you could see how that scoop is fully functional. This is the opening that's gonna seal atop this top mount intercooler. But what are we looking at with this Subaru WRX GT? We have that 2.4 liter turbocharged engine, flat 4, producing 271 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque. The GT comes with the SPT, the Subaru Performance Transmission, which is basically a CVT transmission that's been retuned for this new generation. 0 to 60 in 5.3 seconds. Quarter mile goes by at 13.9 seconds at 102 miles per hour, and top speed is governed to 134 miles per hour. Now, MPGs around 20 in the city, 25 on the highway, and the vehicle weighs, with the symmetrical all-wheel drive, 3,552 pounds. Now, like I said, this having that Subaru performance transmission, you look at the Integra Type S, the only transmission that's going to be available is a 6-speed manual. So one thing to think about, we are going to take this for one heck of an on-throttle drive to really put it through its paces with this transmission. They did add a different transmission cooler to help with overall temps. You have 5 different drive modes with this vehicle, the adaptive suspension, and remember the all-wheel drive, which the Integra Type S is going to be front-wheel drive. And if it's anything like the Type R, you're looking at 315 horsepower with that 6-speed manual transmission and front-wheel drive. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this WRX GT and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, dog approved and dog driven for sure. This 2023 ignition red Subaru WRX GT. Now, I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I definitely want to take advantage of this perfect performance time when it comes to compact sedans, hatchbacks, and everything else. I've been thinking about the WRX, I'll be honest. How much is it? Because I'm also waiting for the Type S, and I kind of have an idea of what the price is going to be for that. Very good question. So this WRX GT basically comes the way you see it. This is the top trim. So you're looking at MSRP right around $42,000. Now let's put that into perspective. A Honda Civic Type R starts at $42,000. So I'm going to guesstimate that an Acura Integra Type S is probably going to be around $47,000. That's just me guesstimating, thinking about the Golf R, thinking about the GTI, Elantra N, and everything in between. So let's go ahead, let's see if this is the one and see what you get for the money. To the door panels. Definitely, if you have been a Subaru fan for a while, you know that they made some great strides with their door panels. I like the soft touch material. You do have some faux carbon fiber. Nothing too obnoxious. It's really not bothering me. I wish that they black out the chrome on the door handle. That just looks like a door handle from a Forester. So that's a zonk. I wish they would have just blacked that out. I do like on the GT trim how you have the Alcantara microfiber suede material, red stitching throughout, no gloss black around the switchgear. And the other side of the coin is the door pocket is on the tighter side. So maybe one in and out double burger and a small fry, and you could probably get a bottle of water, a bottle of Pepsi in there. And we have the optional Harman Kardon sound system. Now going from the door panel to the dash, I do like the way they styled the AC vents. Very, very nice touch with the silver trim. More of that Alcantara microfiber suede material, the red stitching. I kind of wish they would have just went with this gunmetal color on the whole door panel rather than the faux carbon fiber. But this is really, really nice. Come on in. What are you greeted to? No big surprise. That is the same 11.6 inch portrait style. That's what they call the vertical setup, portrait style infotainment system screen. Obviously, we have navigation. You hit your home button here. You can see all the different apps that we have. Not my favorite orientation, but the longer I have been driving the vehicle, the more comfortable that I've been with it. You hit the little car logo, and this is where you could adjust your vehicle control setup. You could go into your driver assistance, which is really nice, and then others, which would be all the beeps and noises. So I hit mid. I want to make that very low. There we go, because sometimes that noise just makes my ears bleed. Then we go right back to home. Up top, you have your auxiliary gauges, which are really nice, and you could scroll through a cornucopia of different information up top, which is really, really nice. So I like the way that they have that kind of flexibility. A little bit slow on the reaction time, but still nice to have that information. One thing you're getting on the GT is, watch this. I hit the mode button on the steering wheel. We have our different modes, not available on the standard WRX. So we have comfort, normal, sport, sport plus, and then you can hit individual and actually customize your whole experience. So you can make steering a little bit heavier in that sport mode, suspension a little bit more stiffer because we have the adaptive suspension, even adjust your all-wheel drive to make it more of a sporty sense going on. So kind of nice. We're gonna just leave it in Sport Plus because I love the way everything is set up perfectly for me. Backup camera, there it is. It does not take up the full 11.6 inches. I wish it was just a little bit more of a visual space, a little bit larger. Maybe you've been told that in your life that, you know, people wish that it was a little bit larger, but here in this infotainment, definitely I wish it was just a little bit more of the screen, a little bit larger. Put it right back into park, and we're back again. So that's not very difficult. AC controls, I do like the way they have the dual climate temperature gauge. That's easy to work on both sides, but to access everything else AC, you have to be very pinpoint precise and then make your adjustments. Let me know how you feel about that. Obviously, in the Integra Type S, you're gonna get the same 9-inch infotainment system, iPad style. This one's more integrated, and you'll have physical buttons and knobs. We do have 3 stages of heated seats. It'll be interesting to see if they have heated seats in the Integra Type S, because in my Type R, there's no actual heated seats. You do get 2 USB-As and a 12-volt. Highly recommend running a radar detector. We got a 3-fer. You could put 3 California Twinkies in this spot right here. If you're wondering what's a California Twinkie, like I said, it's filled with pureed pineapple. This guy right here, I know this is probably the last thing you want to see, but this is going to control that SPT, Subaru Performance Transmission, also known as a CVT. It does have red stitching. I wish they would have done something different from the shift lever here, because this looks like it's right out of a Forester, an Outback, a Crosstrek, a Legacy, an Ascent. They should have done something a little special. Just a little bit of gloss black, nothing too crazy. I love the material and the stitching. 2 cup holders. You do have your traditional Subaru key fob, and it's actually still looking good. Works well, it's a good size. I like the way they have this nice little tray here. You could put some Jolly Ranchers, maybe some cinnamon, sour apple. Nice soft touch with the red stitching. Open it up, we got another 12-volt in there, and you have enough room in there, I would say, for 12 CDs. So you could get your Pearl Jam, you could have all that, but here's the problem. There's no CD player in here, but here's the solution. Go on eBay, go on Craigslist or Facebook ads or whatever, get yourself a Sony Discman, and then you could bring out all the old CDs, since some of the stuff in here, you know, kind of makes sense. Seats, I love them. In the GT, you get the real Recaros. Nice embroidery. Love all the Alcantara material, the stitching. Even the bottom bolstering is phenomenal. The one thing that's not so phenomenal is that you don't have a power seat for the passenger. 8-way adjustable power seat for the driver, and when you go GT, like I said, you get something that you probably not going to be able to get on the Integra Type S, your standard size sunroof. And remember, because this is a Subaru, we have EyeSight technology, probably the best safety system in all of the auto industry. And this is obviously a 5-star plus safety rated vehicle. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I got a flat bottom steering wheel, not with your name on it. It actually says WRX. Coming over, I want to show you. All right, guys, business time. Come on in to the WRX. No special sill plate, but that's okay because they have one of the best pedal boxes ever created. Love the aluminum dead pedal, good size, brake pedal and throttle, all the same aluminum pedal style. No clutch. I would like a clutch, but it's nice that they offer something for the automatic drivers. You do have your 8-way adjustable seats, easy to get to, easy to figure out. And I'm really digging these Recaros. The bolstering is really beefy, but don't worry, it's not gonna squeeze you to death. But if you notice, Nice lateral support, which I can't wait to get to the twisty bits and put it to the real test. Lots of headroom. That's another thing, that the greenhouse, even though the roof is a little bit lower than the previous gen, you still got plenty of room in here. And it's an easy vehicle to live with on a daily basis. Steering wheel, you're gonna wanna rub your hands all over it. Love the flat bottom. You got your WRX badge, a little bit of faux carbon fiber, nothing too crazy, nothing too gaudy. I like the flat black on the buttons, the red stitching, just like a Babe Ruth freaking baseball all the way around. You do have plastic paddles behind the wheel to go through 8 simulated gears, and it is a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then the dash, it's a little bit of a hybrid setup. What do I mean by that? You have a 4.2-inch digital display where you can actually show all the different modes, and you got a boost gauge. It's got a gear indicator, and then you have the analog tach, speedometer, coolant gauge, and fuel gauge. So they have you covered with the gauges, and to be honest with you, I don't mind the analog stuff. Now, on the Integra Type S, it's gonna have a digital display similar to the Type R. So let me know in the comment section, are you upset? Are you disappointed with the analog gauges in this WRX GT? But why don't we get in the back seat, because I'm jonesing to go on throttle in this rally car. All right, guys, back seat time, and this is another area where the WRX is a winner. Lots of headroom, and the best part is 4 doors. What does that mean? You got more room for more people to enjoy the fun, compact performance segment of the auto industry together. And maybe, hey, you might show them some of your mad driving skills that you learned in Gran Turismo. Now, on the backs of the seats, I do like the way you have that leather style material. Nice, massive opening. So you could easily put, I would say, 6 pieces of pita back here. And the reason why you're gonna wanna have the pita is I'll show you in a second. As we slide over, this is interesting. This makes me scratch my head almost as much as the plastic cladding around the fenders. There's this large opening here. Now, most would probably say, wow, you could put 2 AC vents there. But I think the reason why Subaru didn't do that is you could put a nice round container of hummus. So you got your pita, you could put 5 pieces of pita here, 5 on my side, hummus in the center. Now you're having a freaking party on 4 wheels. Lift this up, you do have 2 more USB-As. It looks like they're teasing you, letting you know that they were gonna give you heated rear seats, but there are no rear heated seats in this Subaru GT. Sitting back here, like I said, comfort is very nice, and I like the way they kept the same seats with the Alcantara, with the red stitching. That's a nice touch. And then usually, I don't even have to do this, but I'm gonna do it because I like to stay consistent. Subaru does a killer center armrest, soft as a freaking, the butt of a freaking Labrador. 2 cup holders, flip it on back. Why don't we go ahead, let's get into the trunk and see how many different types of dogs we could fit back there in this WRX. All right, guys, time to get into the trunk. Now, obviously, the WRX has an actual trunk being a sedan, but the awesome thing is you have a nice wide opening, low cargo floor, and over 14 cubic feet of space. You fold down those seats, you could easily get 4 wheels mounted with track tires. So if you're gonna take this to the track, go autocrossing, you could bring the jack stands, and your extra set of wheels and tires. Subaru designed it that way. Now, even with all this great space, it still comes up short to the Integra Type S. Just like the Civic Type R, the Integra Type S, being a hatchback or more like a sportback, has a lot more room. How much more room we talk about? We're talking about 24 cubic feet of space with the seats up. There's some SUVs that don't even have that much space, but still, like I said, from a packaging standpoint, Subaru did a great job getting us plenty of room for all those track necessities. And if you're wondering on this GT, is there a spare? No, there is not, just like on the Integra Type S. So another thing to think about, but you know what? I'm done thinking. I now want to get on throttle. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get to it. Definitely the Recaros are doing the business when it comes to holding you into place. I gotta try it out a few more times. So first gear, or simulated gear, on throttle. It just doesn't have that quick, instant response that I want. But once you get moving, That's really where she starts to cook for you. And then of course with the symmetrical all-wheel drive, it keeps you planted and it gives you that confidence because you have all that grip without the slip. I have noticed that in the track mode, definitely it gets a little bouncy. You can see me bouncing a little bit. That's because the suspension has been stiffened up in track mode, and that is where, with the adaptive suspension, it makes that change. So something just to be aware of. But so far, brakes are feeling pretty good. The downshifts are very, very quick. I just wish there was a little bit more noise. I feel like somebody who wants a GT doesn't necessarily want more of a mundane experience. They still want to have the turbo sound, the flat 4 engine sound, the boxer sound and everything. They just want to have it without shifting the gears manually. All right, guys, we found some more twisty bits out here in the middle of nowhere, leaving everything exactly the same. I like shifting with the paddles. It really helps kind of make the feeling a little bit more exhilarating, gives you a little bit more control on where the revs stay and all those other goodies. But first gear, on throttle, here we go. It is surprising with the simulated shifts how quick they are. Love the feedback. And on this smoother road, the track mode is not feeling super stiff. It's actually allowing the car to do what it needs to do to get us around the twisty bits. And of course, with that symmetrical all-wheel drive, it really keeps us planted. But right now, I'm just having it in third, simulated third, and that seems to be a sweet spot for the power band, right around 4,000 RPM. This is where I start to smile because these are the roads that I see in my dreams every single night. And even though we don't have a manual, we still have a performance-oriented car. And you know what? With the new chassis and the way that they made the body more rigid, she really handles great. But I'm telling you, third gear up here is very, very useful. I like it. Not having to hit the paddles, you just keep it in that third, and it really is great. Of course, with the visibility out the front, those corner windows that I was telling you about really allows you to see the road in front of you and allows you to hit your marks spot on the money. This really is freaking fun, I gotta admit. And this is what's great about these cars. And like I said, they're not gonna be around forever the way that we're experiencing them right now. Eventually, everything will become electrified. All right, guys. I don't want this day to end because we are having actually a pretty darn good time in this WRX GT, but here we go, on throttle. Nice. I'm telling you, the way that they did the simulated gears and really keep, like I said, the biggest thing is that having it in third gear really keeps it in that sweet spot, because at 4,000 RPM all the way to 6, she pulls really, really nicely. Very torquey. And the feedback front to back, from the front of the vehicle to the rear of the vehicle, feels awesome, especially in this long sweeper. Really, really nice. Look at this. Here we go. I would like a little bit better brake pedal feedback. And I think a lot of that has to do with, I would like the brakes to be a little beefier. So we are going to zonk the brakes that come on this WRX GT, especially for 42 grand. But I mean, look at this. How can you not have fun in this car, especially on a road like this? If you're not, you need to go back to playing Gran Turismo. That's for sure. Now, am I saying that I prefer the SPT over the manual? No. And I do think it sucks. It straight up sucks that you can't get the Recaros and the standard WRX, because they hold you in so well on roads like these. This thing is, I'm telling you, it's fun. When we drove the car in Florida, not so much fun because it was all flat and straight. Here we are in California, and this is where it's fun. Wow, look at that, the grip. That was a blast. I don't want it to end, but we gotta get back because we gotta move on to the next media drive event. So I'll see you in a split Subaru second. All right, guys, it's been a fun-filled day going on throttle with this WRX GT. I definitely got to thank everybody at Subaru USA for getting us access to this media press fleet vehicle. Let me know what you think. Did Subaru do enough for the new WRX to give you a lot of variety to have your cake and eat it too in that compact performance car class? Are you going to hold out for the new Acura Integra Type S? I want to know your answer down in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raiti's Rides family. Of course, we got to give it up to The Rock. Who's that? Lori Gibbons Raiti, working that camera like a champ. Show us some love in that comment section or I'm coming after you. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.